When Volkswagen rolled out the Touareg back in 2004 as their first crossover SUV, it proved that VW was capable of producing a serious contender among other very popular crossovers, competing against premium midsize SUVs. Fast forward nearly a decade, and it's clear that crossovers have taken over sedans as the more favorable choice for family vehicles. However, for the longest time, there was just one crucial aspect missing from VW's crossover portfolio, and that was a reasonably priced three-row crossover. Cheaper and bigger than the Touareg, VW's all-new Atlas looks to come into the mainstream field of three-row crossover SUVs, and the result is certainly a vehicle that deserves worthy consideration if you're shopping within this segment. So let's go ahead and check out and take a closer look at this all-new 2018 Volkswagen Atlas SE. Built right here within the United States in Chattanooga, Tennessee, VW is really looking to aim directly at the taste of American consumers, and it's even obvious with the styling of the vehicle. The front fascia of the Atlas is squared off that has a very American truck-like appearance and expressing a pretty bold and masculine design language. The rear is finished off with very traditional, sharp, and handsome German styling with dual integrated tailpipes and optional LED taillights. Exterior dimensions are nearly identical to the Sales King, the Ford Explorer, measuring at 198.3 inches in length and 70 inches in height. Our trim of the Atlas we also have here is the SE with technology. When you get any trim level with the technology, you get all of the high-end safety technologies such as a blind spot detection system, adaptive cruise control, rear cross traffic alert, and lane departure warning with lane keeping assist. Here goes the key fob for the Atlas. You have your lock, unlock, your power tailgate, and then your remote engine start. This color of the Atlas is known as the Pure White, and it does come equipped with Smart Key access on the driver's door and the front passenger door. And you have the Shetland leatherette interior. And the Atlas comes standard with leatherette seats, but if you go for the more high-end models, you can get a full-on leather interior. What's also pretty interesting is that our SE model doesn't come with the panoramic moonroof, but that comes as standard equipment on the Launch Edition, which is actually cheaper than the SE. You do have your power driver seat controls with your power recline as well as your power lumbar. Stepping on inside, no matter what trim you get of the Atlas, it features a very modern and clean looking cabin layout. Yet it's pretty sophisticated too. And the step-in height isn't too bad either. It's pretty easy to get in and out of the vehicle. You do have push button ignition, just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to start. And what you're hearing there is a 3.6 liter V6, full leather wrapped steering wheel. Coming to your transmission, 8-speed automatic here with manual shiftability. Putting the vehicle into reverse will display your rear view camera with guidance lines as well as trajectory. You can also go for a 360-degree view camera if you would like. Let's go ahead and check out the exterior of the Atlas. Pop up the hood and check out the engine bay. Heated exterior mirrors with blind spot detection and LED side turn signal indicators. Based on the Volkswagen MQB platform, the new Atlas here is the longest vehicle and the biggest vehicle to be produced on this platform. You have 18-inch alloy wheels. You can also go for 20 inches if you would like. Coming up front here, you'll find LED headlights with LED turn signal indicators, which look fantastic. Powering the Atlas is VW's very familiar 3.6 liter V6 engine, which is actually optional here. And it produces 276 horsepower at 6,200 RPM and 266 pound-feet of torque at 2,750 RPM, with EPA estimates without the 4Motion all-wheel drive system being 18 in the city and 25 on the highway. And there's also a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that you can go with, but that has late availability on the Atlas, which has considerably better fuel economy numbers and a somewhat similar amount of power. The V6 does produce a little bit more power here, but the fuel efficiency is not going to be as good as that turbocharged engine. And if you want the 4Motion all-wheel drive system, you have to stick with the V6 engine, as the 4Motion all-wheel drive isn't available on the turbocharged 4-cylinder just yet. Competitors of the Atlas, you're looking at vehicles in the mid-size to full-size crossover SUV class. This includes the likes of the Ford Explorer, Dodge Durango, Toyota Highlander, Honda Pilot, and the new upcoming Chevrolet Traverse. And the Atlas has tons of competitors in this class. Pricing of the vehicle starts at around $33,000 for the base launch edition model and can top out at all the way to $48,000 for the top of the line SEL Premium. Dual integrated tailpipes and your rear window wiper. EPA estimates 18 in the city and 25 on the highway. Total vehicle pricing, you're looking at $38,465. Like I said, the final assembly point for this vehicle is in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Of course, we have all of your basic power necessities, including power windows, power mirrors, and your power door locks. Interior fit and finish in the Atlas is pretty good and pretty competitive for this class. You'll find plenty of soft touch materials that abound inside of the cabin here, and like on the upper door panel right here where you might rest your elbows, and down here too, and then on top of the dashboard all soft touch. And you also do have this molded stitching, which certainly gives it a more premium vibe inside of here. Not bad. And coming to the steering wheel, love the high gloss black trim. That's a nice little styling touch that VW added. And we do have your adaptive cruise control, as well as your steering wheel mounted audio controls with Bluetooth phone connectivity and your voice recognition. The steering wheel also does manually tilt and telescope. Not a whole lot of range of adjustment on the tilting, but the telescoping is pretty good. Up here you'll find your auto dimming rearview mirror, your map lights, and sunglass container, as well as your SOS Safety Connect. USB charging port, your auxiliary input, and 12-volt power outlet, and a little storage cubby. Dual cup holders, electronic parking brake, and if you go with the 4Motion all-wheel drive system, you'll get a little dial selector down here, which you could select between different terrains like the sand, mud, and snow. And you'll find your nice soft touch center console lid. Pretty good amount of center console storage, and you have a USB charging port down here. Now, what I love about the Atlas's interior is that there's plenty of space inside of here. I mean, I could pretty much just stretch my legs out inside of here anywhere, and there's lots of headroom too. I mean, you really don't feel claustrophobic inside of this vehicle. I mean, they really did take in mind, you know, the taste of American consumers. You have your glove box compartment. Seating comfort in the Atlas is also pretty good. The seats are comfortable and well supportive, and there's a pretty good amount of thigh support. I would certainly take this vehicle on a long road trip. Visibility is pretty good too. You'll find lots of glass area, and the A-pillars are pretty thin and narrow. And when you see out of the windshield, there's tons of glass area. And when you get to rearward visibility, you don't really have sleek styling. It's a pretty squared off design for the most part, and there's just lots of glass area all around the vehicle, even when you get to the rearward visibility. And right here you'll find your dual zone automatic climate control. You can also go for tri-zone climate control if you would like. You have your temperatures, fan speed level, and your different zones. We also do have 3-stage heated seats for the driver and the front passenger. We also have your automatic start-stop system off button, so when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, the engine will actually shut off to conserve a little bit of fuel. And you can turn that off if you like, but it's not that intrusive like how you'll find in some other vehicles. And I'll let you know if the start-stop system is activated on that little screen right there. And coming to the gauges in the instrument cluster, this is the standard gauge setup that you get on the Atlas. You can actually go for a beautiful looking 12.5-inch screen. That's a TFT all digital instrument cluster, which is beautiful. But this still works fairly well. On the left, you do have your tachometer and then your coolant temperature. And on the right, you'll find your speedometer as well as your fuel gauge. In the center right there, it displays all of your driver information. Like your assist systems, you can turn them off if you would like, just by pressing on OK right here. Which is pretty convenient, so you don't have to go to the main head unit. And then there's also other audio settings that you could change, or you could change your radio station from here to telephone. If you have your phone connected, you can make a telephone call. And then vehicle status, your driving data, which shows you your things like your fuel range and your fuel economy, oil temperature, your speed warning, and then a digital speedometer, and then your travel time, basic information like that. But overall, it's a pretty useful little driver information center. It shows you pretty much everything that you need to know. Then you have your exterior temperature readout down there too. We have the 8-inch composition media touchscreen from VW here, and what I love about this system is that it's pretty straightforward, intuitive, and fairly easy to use. The graphics and the rendering are pretty crisp and clear as well. Different audio sources. We have all of your basic audio sources, including Sirius XM satellite radio, AM, FM. You can also direct tune to your favorite radio station, which is always very convenient, so you don't have to tune through it all. You can also change the different views, including from presets to now playing, or just view your channel info too. Then other extras, you can view the traffic info. And then there's your settings, like the Sirius XM settings that you could change. You can view the subscription information if you would like. And all of your external media devices do include your auxiliary input, 2 USB charging ports, SD card slot, and your CD player, which many vehicles are starting to drop that nowadays. All these buttons on the side right here are also touch sensitive. You can also change your different radio station by voice. Let's go ahead and test out the voice recognition.
Please repeat the command.
Set frequency.
Please say the Sirius XM channel.
46.
Pardon?
The heat.
The heat.
So for like your Sirius XM, you actually have to say the actual name of the radio station instead of the channel number. Many vehicles will just do the channel number. And for your phone, you can hook up your Bluetooth phone, have all of your contacts stored in here, and have an integrated dial pad. And I do have my handy dandy iPhone connected to the system right now. So this is your Apple CarPlay, and of course you can view your music. You can play your music on your iPhone, of course, and then you have the maps from your iPhone, which is integrated onto the system, which is pretty cool. I love how you could swipe like this to go around the map. And of course you can zoom in and out. Then you have messages.
Okay.
Your Volkswagen app too. And then iHeartRadio, and then any other apps, any like radio apps that you have on your iPhone, you can actually put onto the system, which is pretty cool. And then over here you have your sound settings, such as your bass, mid-range, treble, balance, and your fader. You can turn on the touchscreen tone if you would like. And then other car settings show you your vehicle status, your tire pressure monitoring. There's also settings that you could change. You can turn off the traction control, and you have your tires too. Like you could set the tire pressure monitoring and the speed warning. You can confirm if your tires comply with all the readings. Personalization settings like the driver information, like your key, and then lights that you could change from lighting assistance, like your automatic headlight control, instrument cluster panel lighting, footwell lighting. And then your assistance systems, such as your front assist for collision warning, lane assist, blind spot detection, and your adaptive cruise control. And your parking and maneuvering, like your rear cross traffic alert. This vehicle can also parallel and perpendicular park itself, which is cool. And then you have your menu, which you can access many of these menus through just clicking on right there. This is basically like your home screen. But overall, I really do love this 8-inch touchscreen from VW. It's very responsive, intuitive, and pretty straightforward, and it's one of the best systems that VW has put out so far. When driving the Atlas, the first thing that you'll notice when going around sharp corners in this vehicle is that it really doesn't feel as heavy as it looks. And the steering is pretty precise, and it delivers a decent amount of driver engagement, and you'll be pleasantly surprised about how well this vehicle handles. And it is one of the better handling vehicles out of all the 3-row crossovers that you can get, all the non-premium 3-row crossovers. And I really do love the way this vehicle drives. I mean, if you're looking for a sporty driving crossover, then you may want to check out the Atlas. And on top of that, the ride quality is still pretty smooth without being too on the firm side. And you'll notice that the 8-speed automatic transmission does shift pretty well and is fairly responsive and never really hesitates to shift. You won't notice any jerking or anything of that nature. This is a pretty refined transmission. However, the only gripe I do have with the Atlas are the powertrains. The V6 engine can feel a little underwhelming at times and is slightly underpowered for how big this vehicle is. It's a little bit of a different story between the way this vehicle handles and how the acceleration is. The acceleration is just not the greatest out there. I would love to see Volkswagen put in a turbocharged V6 engine or something like that, but this V6 just doesn't produce enough power. It may be good enough for vehicles like the Passat, but for this big old mid-size SUV, it's just not the greatest powertrain out there. And the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder really isn't all that better. It does deliver better fuel efficiency, but the power just isn't there. But if you're looking for a good handling full-size, mid-size to full-size crossover, then the Atlas will certainly satisfy, but this isn't the most powerful one out there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of this vehicle. Manual rear window sunshades, just in case if the children complain about getting too hot back here. The second row seats, they do slide forward and aft for greater comfort, and to get into the third row, it's a pretty easy mechanism. Just hop right in and pull up on this lever right here. And just like with VW's Passat, the Atlas here features one of the roomiest back seats in its class. There's tons of legroom, a vast amount of legroom, and an ample amount of headroom. There's just an abundance of it. And you'll find rear air vents, automatic climate control. This has the Climatronic tri-zone automatic climate control system. And we have 2 rear USB charging ports and a 12-volt power outlet. All headrests are adjustable back here. And we have a rear center armrest with cup holders. The seats are also fairly comfortable too. And if you get the panoramic moonroof in the Atlas here, it really does give it a much more open, airy feeling. Decent amount of legroom in the third row, but I wouldn't say the third row is the roomiest in the class, but the second row is one of the roomiest. But the seats do slide forward and aft if you're looking for greater comfort for the third row, and you'll find cup holders back here as well. All right. You have a hands-free liftgate. You can also go for a foot-activated tailgate, which is a nice little feature. And your maximum cargo capacity when all the seats are folded down, it's measured at 98.3 cubic feet. And to fold the seats down, pretty easy. Just pull up on these levers right here. And then you also have a 12-volt power outlet. So with its roomy interior, its intuitive technology, and lengthy standard features list, the 2018 Volkswagen Atlas is an excellent choice for a 3-row crossover. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.